So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Q&A. And before we start this Q&A, as you know, I am now officially have opened up the pre-order for my book, Nakshatras, The Speed of Light, on my Maga Vedic Astrology Academy as a course folder. So, you will find something in there soon. And the book will be released on May 14th, on lulu.com. But yeah, the time is finally here. So here I am announcing it to the world. So let's start with our first Q&A, which comes from Marija Korekanak. Which planetary position gives you pet? Okay, so before we get into planetary position of a pet, we have to see if a person will enjoy and like pets. And usually you will see nakshatras like Ardra, Mula, Mriksira, Rohini, and Ashlesha will have strong gravitational pull towards pets, including Purva Bhadrapada. These are the particular nakshatras that are most of them are very wild. They like to deal with things which are very wild because they themselves are wild and the world can understand them. And they feel frustrated because the world can understand them because they are the outcast of that society. So for them, relating to an animal, whether it's a cat, whether it's a dog or a bird, they feel more at home because such people, most of these nakshatras, they kind of belong in wilderness. They belong in wild, the jungle, the nature. And what do you find in nature and jungle? You don't find humans most of the time. You're mainly, when you think of the word jungle and wild, you think of animals. So they have this natural affinity for animals. Like for an example, if a person had a lion cub, and it came up to them. If they were living in some cave, lion cub came in, they fed them, they start taking care of them. The lion cub just loves them. Even when they grow to a ferocious, killing machine, the person like Ardra person, Bhadrapada person, they will not even mind being killed by such an animal because there's this bond and this love. And then obviously 6th house represents pets. You will see whenever 6th Lord influences 4th house, 2nd house, and 1st house, a person will be very much inclined towards wanting to have pets. Because 1st house is you. There's this natural need to take care of something. 2nd house is what you like to hold and value. It's what you want to possess. So naturally a person want to possess the 6th house things. Whether it's taking pain off other people, saving other people, or dealing with animals. 4th house is naturally the house of, again, storage and love. So that 6th Lord brings itself into the 4th house, or 4th Lord being in the 6th house, the love goes towards such things. So yes, you will see those particular things happen. Then, Saab. Will there be Atma Karka and Dhara Karka connection with the person you marry? I don't know about Atma Karka, but Dhara Karka, one thing you will notice, look at the nakshatra. See again, nakshatra talk. Look at the nakshatra directly opposite to your Dhara Karka. Somehow that nakshatra will be visible somewhere in your spouse's chart. And Dhara Karka, especially the placement that the Dhara Karka holds in Navamsha, whichever sign, whichever house it's in, you will see your connection with your spouse will have mainly to do with that particular sign and house. So for example, let's say your Dhara Karka is Jupiter. And in Navamsha chart, Jupiter is, let's say, in the 3rd house. And let's say in the sign of Gemini. Your ability to relate with your spouse will always, not even relate. The value that you feel between you and your spouse will definitely have something to do with reading philosophical books, discussing higher philosophy, discussing about the world and religion and spirituality. For some reason, you find that anchor with that person, with this. And like I said, birth chart definitely holds that, but I have seen more with the Navamsha. Then Meta Rose, what is the most accurate transit for meeting of spouse? Like combination of transit plus dasha never fails when predicting the meeting of spouse. So again, I think you kind of answered the question yourself. The main thing is the dasha and the age. Dasha will definitely show, and not just one dasha. Don't rely on one dasha. Always use 3 different dashas, because when those 3, it's like a clock, like hour clock, minute clock, and the second clock. When they are at a certain point, something happens, right? Like for example, you're waiting for a sports game to start at 6 p.m. So that short hand has to be at 6. The big hand has to be at 12. And the second itself has to cross that 12th mark for the TV or that TV station to suddenly start that, pre-game show and the ball game and this and that, announcing, the caster will announce the players and whatnot. So again, the 3 dasha system will show that timing. Transit, without the dasha, the transit will fail. Because you may think, well, if Venus is transiting my 7th house, my ascendant, I may run into that person. No, what it will do, you may date people. You may come across people for, flirtation and chit chat. But the actual person you're going to meet, that only happens through the timing. And I believe you fails when predicting the meeting of spouse. Yeah, so dasha, look at the dasha. And one thing you always have to make sure is that, especially if you do want to look at the transit, whenever Jupiter and Saturn will either aspect your 7th house, 7th lord, your Dharakarka, your Uppapada Lagna, meaning Uppapada ascendant, or Venus, then you will see definitely great chances of meeting someone, even for a long-term relationship. Then Varke asks, how to calculate the best day to get married? I saw one of your video which you explained about moon, but I cannot seem to find it anymore. Okay, it's very simple. When you can figure out, what day should I get married? Let's say you don't have the time to consult an astrologer, or just, you just want to think of it quickly. Look at the nakshatra of Uttara Falguni. Especially when moon is transiting the Virgo side of Uttara Falguni. Uttara Falguni becomes one of the best days to get married. This is the nakshatra that represents the marriage of Shiva and Parvati as well. The first family, you can say. So that is just simple as that. Now, of course, sometimes a person can get married in Chitra Nakshatra. Some astrologer may say, well, you should get married in Anuradha. Well, then that depends on the 2 individual charts and what is the potency of the 2 charts. But again, Uttara Falguni is just like the emperor of that particular timing. Then Nitike. Can you share your insights into unique facial features based on the native's rising ascendant? Sure, I don't think I have that much time, but for example, in Aries ascendant people, you will see they will have a bit of a cheekbone and wavy nose. Aries ascendant eyes, will be a little bit separate, and I can't explain it unless I'm showing you faces, but it's a little bit separate, not close to the nose, but a little bit separate from the nose. And obviously Aries ascendant will have quite an athletic body. Taurus will have a more squarish face, even thick eyebrows. Gemini ascendant may have curly hairs, youthful looking face, especially they will have a very beautiful nose. And their lips will be very much full. Cancer will have a round face, strong nose. Leo as well will have a very heavy face, thick nose, thick eyebrows, especially the chin part, you will see like the chin part and this part becomes very dominant feature, like it just comes down with a curve. So it's things like that. You know, like for example, if you look at Pisces ascendant will have very like separated eyes, like very like in a way bit of like that alien looking type eyes, like very separate and beautiful eyes, kind of like fish eyes. Okay. And then you can also go into body types as well, especially based on the nakshatra. You can see what body is this individual will have. Then Balakrishnan, couple, can you give some insights about Rahu Mahadasha and Saturn Antradasha period of running if possible? Simple. Time to grind. Work. Like you, Rahu and Saturn is this one period. Obviously, their good and bad results will really seen from how they're positioned from each other. Not just the sign and nakshatra, or if they're exalted or something. No, look at how they are from each other. But the main thing you will see, you will not have time for personal life. The life will be of the work. Even if you're retired, Rahu Saturn period somehow will put you to some type of a work. Even like you're working long hours at night. It's like it makes you into a machine. Then Sahiba Sharma, can you tell what Amatya Karka Mars in 10,000 Capricorn sitting with Moon in D10 might be showing regarding career? Well, first of all, it cannot just pinpoint your career. No, that's it. You're gonna feel lost. What this shows, this is an extremely strong position for someone to take a commanding position in their career. One becomes extremely fiery, like you. This is an individual who needs to be in a place where quick decisions have to be made, and this is an individual who will not regret the bad or good decisions they've made. They say, okay, decision made, bad, fine. What is the next one? Like for example, if you look at how athlete is, when they miss the shot, they're not like crying about it. They're running on the other side, defending, so the other team doesn't score. If they lose a championship, they're okay, lost. Okay, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow and I'm gonna start working for the next year. So it's a very strong, solid position, and also shows me that one will attain great favors from authorities and government in their life. And it also shows me one only likes to be in a position where they're fighting for something and fighting against someone. But then again, what career? Well, that's going to depend on main birth chart, everything else. Atma Karka. So you could be a lawyer with this position. You could be an artist with this position. You know, you can't really pinpoint a career like that. Sameep Agarwal, for Taurus ascendant, will aspect of Jupiter and Saturn always be beneficial, assuming they're in good dignity? Well, hold on. For Taurus ascendant, will aspect of Jupiter and Saturn. See, aspect, okay, you got to understand, just look at aspect from a very fundamental point of view. One is a benefic planet, Jupiter. One is a malefic planet, Saturn. I don't care if it's a yoga karka for an ascendant. I don't care if they're the ascendant lord. Their job is very automated. They're like, before I give you the results of the houses that I rule, I'm going to give you a benefic result or malefic result because this is my nature. Like, for example, you're telling a lion, well, just because you're in my house versus that house, I know you're not going to eat me. Well, that's wrong. If a lion is loose in your home and you're there, it is going to eat you. It is going to attack you. If you have a dog, like a golden retriever, in that house, with your house versus the other house, well, the golden retriever is going to just want to lick you to death. It's going to want to love you. It's going to want to be fed and cuddled. It's not going to be there to eat you. So that's the first thing. Then, for Taurus ascendant, Jupiter rules the 8th house and 11th house. It's a trick lord. Trick, I've always said this repeatedly. Trick means trick. It tricks you. It tricks a person into doing certain things that they may not have supposed to do. But Jupiter's aspect brings the 8th house things, which is transformation, ups and downs, okay? Hidden things, scandals. And 11th house of gains, fulfillment of desires, recognition. It'll do these mixed things. Same thing with Saturn. Saturn's a yoga karka for Taurus ascendant. So 9th and 10th Lord effects will be seen through its aspect. But it is going to bring duty, commitment, and sacrifices on the houses that it aspects. It's going to make those houses feel like dry and bleak. Okay, then. Big Chenga. Mars and Ketu conjunction in the second house in Mula Nakshatra for Scorpio ascendant people. Well, number one, very destructive childhood. Childhood would be very destructive. Not only because of the family, but because of your attitude as well. Like once you're set on something, that's it. Parents can't do anything. Or you will see family uprooting things frequently. One may move frequently one place to the other. A lot of fights and arguments would occur, especially related to hidden psychological issues of some one person. So for example, let's say mother has some psychological issues. One cannot figure it out, but mother will always create some kind of a fight, an argument with everybody. And will keep everybody on walking on eggshells. So these are some of the things that you will experience. There's a lot more. And also you will see with Mars, Ketu in the second house in Mula, one likes to keep weapons in their home. One has great affinity for weapons, especially swords. Then Parikshana Mathur. If all the family members are running through the same Mahadasha, in my case Saturn, what does it signify? So yes, there is something to that. When everybody is running through a single dasha, like in your case Saturn, there is definitely tremendous amount of karma that needs to be released. This is the time period for you all to do the maximum amount of work. And yes, you are going to be sacrificing towards something. Your duty is going to be asked to be towards something even if you don't want to. And you will see when everybody runs through Saturn Dasha, you all in a way understand why you suddenly no longer like most of the things. Like for example, you guys will no longer like socializing with people. No longer just wanting to laugh at something. The whole family becomes very conservative in nature. Very conservative in their attitude towards something. And even though exciting things happen, you just don't feel excited about them. Like you're like, yeah, that's great. We got this beautiful property with the view. But you guys won't be like high-fiving and hugging each other. They'll be like, wow, this is a beautiful view. Yeah. I think we should buy this property. Okay. All right. Done. Okay, let's move our stuff in. Okay, let's live our life. But internally, you are enjoying it. You're just not bringing it out. Okay. Then, V. Patel, is it better to get married when Jupiter is transiting your Uppapada Lagna sign or when Jupiter is in the second from the Uppapada Lagna? No, this is not something you decide. This is not something you decide. This is something that happens. And if Jupiter is transiting the second house from Uppapada Lagna, well, it better be either transiting the 7th house, aspecting the 7th Lord, Dharakarka, Uppapada Lagna Lord itself, or Venus. Otherwise, marriage is not going to be happening. So the second house theory may have worked, but you got to look at these factors. Is it influencing these other factors? If it is, then it could be transiting 8th from the Uppapada Lagna. A person will get married. Okay. So guys, this was my Q&A for this week. And as you know, the pre-orders for the book is in the description link below. And the actual book, like paperback and everything, will be available on May 14th on lulu.com. So, if you want to then sign up, you can just go there, sign up, and I'll actually release the book early for that pre-order, then actual date. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.